Greetings viewers, this is Montom Maverick coming at you with another video. Today we're going to finalize this review for the real grade Evangelion Production Model 02, or Eva-02 for short, by fully assembling this kit, sharing the full assembled part, the figure I mean, and of course sharing my opinion about the good, the bad, everything else in between, and if this is a kit worth getting. So with all that being said, let's get straight to assembling this kit. And here we have the real grade Eva-02 fully assembled. And I must admit, I kind of do like the way this looks. The red, of course, is the top color, just like how purple is the top color of the Eva-01. This is pretty show accurate, I must say, too. So that's always a plus. And it's pretty sleek, just like Eva-01, this is pretty slender, pretty slim, so not much difference between there. Of course, the big difference is the color, but the color works well. All red, and of course the other colors as well does bring the red out a little bit. The orange, the yellow, the white, even the dark gray, and even the green for the 4 eyes in his head, they all just work well together. So in terms of contrast, the colors work well. I mean, I've said it a few times already, so I really am happy the way how this looks. And the presentation is actually pretty nice too. Not too bulky, like I said, pretty slim. And that's to me is a good plus. Especially the fact that everything here is pretty proportionate. Nothing seems to be too big or too small in terms of the body, legs, head. I know there have been several times whenever I review kits, some parts of the body just seems a bit in proportion in a certain way, but not in this case. So I am happy the way how this looks, how this presents, and just the stature and all around. So I'm really happy the way how this turned out. In order to properly show how this kit turns out after it's fully assembled, let's test out the articulation. So for starters, I'm going to take this umbilical cord out because I know it's going to fall off. So put that to the side. Okay, close up here. The mouth does move up and down. The head can just turn ever so slightly. Not much of a 360-degree bend. 360-degree turn. The neck can move down. It can move up, like so. The shoulders can swivel back and forth, and they slide up and down. Move the flap up so you can move the arm all the way. And unfortunately it's not a straight line, but that's as far as can extend out. The nice elbow bend, like so. This can turn, but be careful because, as I showed in the parts video, this can loosen up a little bit, so just be ever so careful with that. And there's the Eva-02 symbol on the shoulders. The wrists, if you just pop it out just a little bit, not enough to take it out, but if you just pop it just a little, just like I showed in the parts video, you can just have a nice 360 bend. The shoulders, of course, this can open up to show the hidden weapon in there. The body can move in different parts, especially can extend like so. Gain maybe a full inch at most, maybe half an inch. The legs can raise up. It can go up backward ever so slightly. And there is a joint inside the waist that once you put it in, it tells you to twist it so it can lock into place. But unfortunately, because of the connection point with the leg and that hip joint there, it's pretty secure in terms of the movement. So you can see I move one leg, the other leg moves. So unfortunately, it's not as strong in my personal opinion because the connection point of the leg and that joint is so strong that if the leg moves, that moves. So therefore, the other leg moves. And I kind of wish there was a better way for that piece to lock into place, but I digress. So like I said, it does move forward and backward. I still a very good knee bend. Almost 180 there. The feet can move up. The toe can move up. It can move down just a little bit. There is a little bit of a swivel at the ankle. A little bit of a swivel there as well. Of course, this can move depending on how you want to move the foot. And yeah, I believe that's it for articulation. And now with some side-by-side comparisons with the Eva-02. It is beside the real grade Sazabi. And obviously the real grade Sazabi is a lot bulkier, but the Eva-02 just a tad taller, I would say. Just by a hair. And here's beside Master Grade Infinite Justice. And just because of the Justice Gundam middle head crest, this definitely beats it by the height for sure. But like I said, real grade and master grade. So real grades tend to be smaller, but obviously this is not Gundam. It's a humanoid, I guess, mech, so to speak, from Evangelion. So in this case, though, even though it's a different grade, still not too bad. It's very close to a normal master grade height. And speaking of master grades, here's it beside Master Grade Unicorn 02, or the Banshee version, in this destroy mode. So definitely the Banshee got this one in height and bulk. And lastly, here's beside his counterpart, Eva-01. And I think this one is just taller bone because I extended the body a little bit. I did not extend this one as much. But still, though, kind of gives you a good idea that these two can never be the same height, especially with his shoulders there. So, yeah, very identical in terms of height, width, and just stature, really. So just like the Eva-01, the Eva-02 has roughly the same amount of articulation. Maybe some differences with the head because of the head sculpt and the chest as well. But other than that, everything is down to the T. So yes, the same articulation would be on the Eva-02 just as much as it was on the Eva-01. But still though, with that being said, it's still nice to have that type of comparison, and that similarity really, I should say, not comparison. But the point I want to make is, at least you know what you're going to get out of it if you were to get this kit. So the fact that you can do everything basically to the T, to me, that's actually a good plus. And so in this case, I just want to see how it looks with some weapons. So with the knife, even though it's a different knife, it's the same type of handling, just like on the other knife set that came with the Eva-01. And as you can see here with its Thunder Spear, there are definitely a few ways you can pose this kit with the weapons that comes along with it, and of course some accessories as well. So there are some possibilities. Might be a little bit finicky to get where you want it to be, but hey, I would say what you get from Eva-01 is, you will get in Eva-02 as well. So posability, posing, articulation, to a T, like I said before. So, but yeah, it's still kind of nice that this kit comes with its own weapon specifically for this kit. So to me, that's a plus actually. Aside from the colors and some like different head sculpt and chest, I'm glad they add an extra weapon, just make this kit just stand just a little bit more. And now for the good, the bad, and everything else in between. So for the good, the colors I would say are very good. They work well together. The white, the red, even the dark gray. They just work well together. So that's a plus. Second thing is, aside from different pieces, like I mentioned before, the chest and the head, this is pretty identical to the Eva-01. So the Eva-02, if you were to get the Eva-01, you know what we're going to get with the Eva-02. Same build for the most part, same articulation, so to me that's a good plus. Price also, it should be around the same price as the Eva-01. If this is still available, which I believe it still is, I'll be sure to share a link down below in case you all want to make a purchase. Posability, articulation is good. Yeah, I give that one. The articulation is good, so you can definitely use some poses. Unfortunately, there's no attachment piece that I can use an action base with, so that's the only one downfall. But everything else I would say is pretty good. Now for the bad, and there are some bad ones, unfortunately. These had the same issues as the Eva-01. For starters, when I was posing this, there were two things that occurred. One, pieces tend to fall off, especially pieces around the elbow, and the red pieces that are associated with the ankle, which is similar to the green pieces on the Eva-01's ankle. They tend to pop off quite easily, so it's a little bit unfortunate. The other thing I noticed is whenever I was posing this, I tried to make it a stand, it kept on falling off. So unfortunately, it's not great support on the feet, which I am a little bit disappointed at. I was hoping that I can, with certain poses, it can be in certain articulation, I can be in certain poses, what I'm trying to say. But unfortunately, it doesn't work well, and I'm a little bit bummed by that. Something like this is okay, as you can tell, but if you're trying to bend the knee in a certain way, bend the ankles in a certain way, even bend the upper legs, the waist, and I did mention that in Eva-01, which this is another negative, the piece associated with the upper legs and the waist, that connection piece, if one piece moves, so does the other one. So it's just a solid hinge, and what's worse is that there's no locking mechanism, so it can be a little bit loose. I'm grateful it didn't do too bad on its articulation, but still be watchful of that. So with that, is this a kit worth getting? So I'm gonna, not trying to be devil's advocate, but I'm gonna try to split this in a few ways. If you are, I wouldn't say a professional, but if you've built kits before, especially real grade kits, or even some master grade Gunpla, then this should be a cinch. This shouldn't be that bad. If you were to purchase the Eva-01, the Eva-02 shouldn't be that bad either. Add to the collection. because you know what you're going to get if you have one or the other. If you are new and you want to get into model kit building, I don't recommend this being your first kit. There's just some things there that might be, like the build shouldn't be that big of an issue, but I would say do be careful on a few things. So I don't recommend this being your first kit. Maybe after a few kits, maybe. It all depends on what you want to familiar yourself with. High grades are always good for beginners. Real grades and master grades to me kind of go hand in hand, but some real grades are better than master grades. So in other words, I let you decide if this is a good purchase. It's not a bad one. I wouldn't say this is definitely not the worst one I've purchased, but just be careful in case you do. So yes, after some time, I can definitely can say that this was a good kit nonetheless. It was a fun build, very similar, so I kind of know what I was getting myself into since Eva-01. So did enjoy nonetheless. There's some kinks here and there, but hey, some kits are like that. I did mention before that something about like standing on Eva-02's feet might be a little bit hard to balance, but something like this is okay. So I do want to be sure that it can pose well. It just takes some feeling around too. So, and luckily this wasn't that bad. So I am thankful for that. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Enjoyed this series so far. In case you want me to pick up Eva-00, the yellow-ish one, please comment down below. But I do have some other ideas for upcoming videos, so I hope you all be patient and looking forward to that one. So with all that being said, thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more video updates. My social links down below, Instagram and Reddit. The two videos here, the most recent one, of course, is when I go through each part of Eva-02, the legs, body, head, shoulders, weapons, all that, and basically give a little bit more detail of each part. And the other video here is one that YouTube picked out. So with that, again, thank you for all for watching, and until next time, keep on building.